Hey everyone, this is Mr. Everything, and I wanted to do a video for 2023 on my shave den tour. Nothing crazy, not too much different than it was a few years ago. I did one. Yeah, they're not the greatest thing, but I don't know, they're kind of fun. So, one of them might catch on just to see. This is kind of one of my newer additions now that I have more stuff. This was just like a $10 Walmart shelf I put here, so I had some more room. But you can see I got a few new razors and some of my older stuff is down here, which this is the original stand that I made back when I was a younger punk, didn't have as much money. I was like, well, I'll just make one, and reinforced it with like shims and then put this carbon fiber vinyl, vinyl wrap over it. I think I had this synthetic brush in the last video I did of the Vikings, but I actually ended up not liking this adjustable. I don't use it that much. I mean, it looks great, but no matter what setting I use it on, I just don't get the greatest shaves. And then I have the original Vanderhagen, which I haven't touched this one in years. I mean, I always thought it was good for what it is. Had it, I think, for about 7 years now. And this synthetic, it's a Vikings blade. I mean, it looks great. It is nice and soft. Love the weighted handle with the knurling and just everything. It looks great. And it feels good, but just, I don't know, I usually don't like it because a lot of times they don't hold water. So it'll just start dripping everywhere unless you really wring it out. But then a lot of times it won't lather as well when it's, very wrung out and not much moisture to it. And then I have this little Harry's like aluminum razor stand. I use this when I'm shaving, so I don't have to lay it flat, or I can just kind of put it in this. And then for the rare times I do use a cartridge, I bought Harry's. I got like, I don't know, probably 8 cartridge razors for like $10, like some deal. So I got a good bit of them. Hopefully I'll never even need to use them, but if I need to, I have them. This is a Vanderhagen shave soap, which that's my first shave soap I got. I still buy it. It's affordable. It smells great and it works well. I keep the top. I cut it off and keep this top piece to cover it. And this was, I think, my grandfather's. So I think this was actually a common shave mug, but that's at least one thing that I could, hand down. So I got that, even though everything else is all mine. At least I have one kind of, I don't know what you call it, like a sentimental piece. So back up here, I shave my head these days. So I find that this works the best. It's just the Remington Boulder Pro. A very emasculating name. They might as well just call it like the Chrome Dome 3000, but it works pretty good. I don't like cartridge razors across my head. It just feels like there's too much dragging. I really don't get irritation, but I don't like that pulling, tugging feel. I don't get that on my face, but I do on my head. So I like this. I know I'm never going to try like straight razor on my head, but I'm not sure if I want to try safety. I feel like it would take too long. It wouldn't do as well as this can. And then I also have this electric shaver. I believe it's a Haddocker. If it's, it does say it. It's just a cheap Amazon brand, but it works really well. It pops open. It's really easy to clean. I think it can do up to 60-minute run time. I haven't charged it in probably years, and you can see it only went down 5 minutes. This was the first electric shaver I bought, and then I started shaving my head. And this one works pretty good, and sometimes I think it actually does work better than the Remington, even though that one has more of the rotary heads on it. This is actually surprisingly good. I just prefer using the other one because that's what it's made for. But I keep this one as a backup if the other one, the battery dies or something. It's not bad and it is affordable, so that's basically the extent of it. I don't think I'd use it on my face. I keep this as a beard comb. I just got this from a Shave Nation. It's pretty cool. I like it better than those bulky wooden ones. that have, you know, the thin, fine comb, and then the bigger one. So this one, I can fold it up and it takes up a little less space. This is another Vanderhagen I just picked up. I only did a couple of shaves with it, but I was really impressed. I tried it on all the settings, even on the highest. I didn't get, it was actually really surprising. It's something that's kind of weird just because of that big head, and you don't feel like you're getting that close of a shave, but then it comes out pretty good. I mean, I know it's like a Merkur Future clone. I think it's a Chinese brand that makes just that clone under their name at Vanderhagen, but I paid like $20 for it. So, I mean, it's a nice build, so if it holds up, I can't complain. My main razor these days is the Amula R41, which I think right now it has a feather blade in it. I mean, it looks great, feels great, and I like the aggressive shave. I don't really have too many problems with it. Again, using all those other ones, I think it does better than that Vikings blade adjustable. So I'm mixing around some blades again. I'm trying it with a feather now, but it's definitely one of the ones that I go to regularly now. That tiny shave butter came with this Vanderhagen. I had a bigger one. I don't like the way it smells. I think it's too like sticky. It'll like clog if I use it with the Remington, or like clog it compared to like Cremo or something that works way better. So I just kind of keep it there as a decoration because it's kind of like a prop. And then this came with some grooming kit, but I like it. It fits pretty good in my hands just to trim up beard and mustache. I keep a few packs of razor blades out here. I'll change it. I keep them in the cupboard, but I just have a few of my more common ones there. The shave head. I like this Parker SRX. You know, it's a nice simple system where you can split it open. Ideally, drop the blade. Then you can use a standard double-edged blade, so you get twice as many uses. Then if you had a 100-pack, now you have effectively 200. It's definitely helping me with the technique of a straight razor, and it does work better, and it is definitely a closer and more intense or risky shave, I guess you could say, compared to a safety razor. I would like to just get a straight, but I don't know, all the honing and the blocks and all that you'd have to do. It's kind of like, I prefer the simplicity of this, and they are quite costly too. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if one day I decide to go ahead and get one, but for now, for all this other stuff, I'm just happy with this. This Omega alum block works pretty good. I used to use the styptic pencil, which you can probably see there, but I think they sting even worse, and they leave those like little white powder spots on your face, to where you can still feel the alum on your skin, but it doesn't show at all, and you can obviously rinse it back off as well. But I've been using the alum instead. After all this time, though, I finally ended up dropping it, so it kind of is in there crooked, and I had to re-wet it and try and get it to fit back in there. And then this was called a lather whip. I think it was just some no-name brand, but this was my first Badger brush, and it sheds a lot. It's very comfortable because I've had it again for probably 6 or 7 years, and I mean it still works, but I no longer really use it. So I guess some of the goodies hidden in here, extra Arco. That is the first shave brush I had. It's a boar. I got it at like a makeup store because I didn't know where you could find shaving stuff at. I paid like $5. It's very small. It's kind of broken in now, but it's still not that great, but it is there. And not too much in this portion. So up top, just a few things. I have like a kit that has one of those nose hair trimmers. I use that from time to time. This is another Haddocker. This is just a regular hair trimmer. It's pretty good quality. Works well. Again, these days, obviously, I don't use it as much, but if for some reason I want to let my hair grow out a little bit, I would trim it back down with this before I use the Boulder Pro, or just shave with like a cartridge or something. But it is pretty good quality. And then I have an extra Nivea aftershave balm, which I usually don't use them, but if I do get irritation, I find it works good, and I like the smell, and they're cheap and easy to get. These are those extra Harry's cartridges, and I keep my razor blades here. This was like a sample pack, so I still have a bunch of them to go through. I recently got, I think these are Persona. I have Bic, some Gillette Silver Blue, and Feather, and then the Astras were the first set I bought, a 100 pack. I think I just, because I recently got some of these and I was going through, I think I still have like 12 cartons or so in there. So I bought them in 2016 or 2015, so I don't go through them that quick. So I still have all those to get through, and then a lot of the newer ones, which they're affordable. So that's kind of what I'm doing as of late, kind of playing around with different razors and blade combinations. And for those that are, that hardcore, that they stuck around because they actually care about all this and it matters, this is one tip for you for blade storage. You might have saw this in the cupboard. This was back when I bought that original big 20 pack of Astras. I was like, well, I don't want to just throw them individually in the garbage and we might get cut or something. And back then, blade banks weren't that common. I think you could get them, but I was like, I'll just make my own. Well, these work really well. So you could do it from here. And again, I don't know if I shave that much because this is every blade I've used since probably, again, 2015 or 16. But I was kind of worried, you open this whole thing and you drop it, that might all fall out. So this individual one, if you just widen it a little bit with a knife or something, you can slide your blade in. So that's just a quick tip. If you have one of these or you don't want to spend the money, you can use this as a blade bank. Now this here is my most recent addition, again, because I kind of got in a kick for the last few months to get a few more things. I don't think there's too much more I want. Again, playing around with some different blades and maybe some different soaps. But in terms of brushes and everything, I kind of got what I want, and the Simpsons should explain why. It's quite pricey, and it's kind of the holy grail, so now that I have one. But more specifically, I got this shelf because in here it's a small bathroom, and I already have this shelf here, which is full of towels and stuff. And I'm kind of out of space. I don't really want to drill anything more into the walls. So this kind, you can take your backing plate out. There's other ones that are made that they'll cover the whole duplex or however you have it. This is obviously a GFI since it's in a bathroom, but this one you just take this backing plate out, put this on it, and this one's kind of cheaper because I had to trim it to make it fit here. It's very close. There are sturdier ones that are thicker that wouldn't flex, but again, being thicker, it'd been so much harder to cut it the way I did it, just with a little hacksaw. So what I did for reinforcement, we just got a little L bracket. So that way I think just this added reinforcement here, it does slant a little bit. Obviously though, if you have the room, you can just get the sturdier one off the bat. But if you were to be interested, they do make such a thing. That's what I'm using. And I have been getting some things from Shave Nation, so I do like the notorious wide stick alum block. I thought it was going to be like as big as a deodorant thing. It's in the shape of one, but it's much smaller, so it fits nice in the hand. It's not too big for on your face. Back there I have the Vanderhagen. That was a type of shave soap that you can melt down. So I put one in those roll-on stick things to make my own shave stick out of the Vanderhagen. And that's a Boar Omega. I wanted to try another Boar since that one I had was way too small. And that's great. I mean, it's a long handle. Doesn't fit too well. It does fit in this new razor stand I bought. And again, since I guess there's a Vikings blade, they look like they made the best razor stand. And since I had a few of their other products, I got that. I like the look of it. It is weighted. It is supposed to be a little bit of a wider thing to hold, accommodate different shave brushes. And my most recent razor is a Merkur 39C. And I definitely wanted to try out a slant bar. I think the long handles look better than the shorter ones, and then I prefer a 2-piece. I think it's a little bit easier to deal with than a 3-piece. So, and I like the handle and the finish on this more than the 34C, or if you wanted to slant, I believe that's the 37C. So this one's a little bit tricky to get the hang of, but compared to since I'm using an R41 regularly, I figured I can definitely try a slant just to have a little bit more variety in the mix. And the last heavy hitter here would be a Simpson's Chubby 2. I was looking for one of these. I mean, they're crazy expensive, but when you can factor in, I had that $30 synthetic, and then a regular Badger costs anywhere from $30 to $50. So I looked on eBay and I lucked out, and this is actually a Super Badger, and I think I ended up paying like $120 or something for it, brand new. It almost looks more like fan type than bulb type, or like the ends kind of look a little bit odd, like maybe that's why someone didn't like it, or I don't know, but it works fine for me. I'm still getting used to it, probably still breaking it in, although it is pretty smooth to begin with. But that is my most recent acquisition. And then now, since I have so many blades and razors, I kind of forget which one I'm using. So with I think certain, maybe the Wilkinson Sword or certain Gillettes and the Astra have 1, 2 on the front, 3, 4 on the back. Since I have so many blades and I don't shave that often, I use them 4 times, and I'll flip it when it gets to 3 and 4 shaves, and I can remember that. But a lot of the newer blades don't have the numbers, so what I'm doing now is I'll write 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll just cross them off so I can remember where I'm at if I use another razor or a blade combo for weeks or something. And to bring it on home, although it's kind of also quite a bit here, is all the different creams. So the Cremo is all, I recently got into that. I mostly just use that for my head. It works nice. You can still see what you're doing. It's not as heavy as a shaving cream or shaving soap, so it doesn't clog up the electric Boulder Pro trimmer, and it goes on easier, and I think it lasts longer, and it's really quick. You just wet your hand, put it on your head, and you're good to go. Every now and then I will shave with it, and one neat thing is that since it's a lighter film, you can still see your beard through it if you want to edge it up. So, and you can get it at Walmart, and they're cheap. And again, I've been using these for years now, and I still have probably the majority, at least half of them, of each one. So, and then I keep some space here for my phone. Has a kickstand, so if I'm shaving or brushing my teeth, I can have my phone of YouTube or a podcast or something. And then here are the soaps. Clear in the back, or just some extra Vanderhagen in case they quit making them. I like to keep a few extra on hand. The Cella, people really like it, so I tried it out. You can see I don't use it that much. I love the smell when you lather it, love the smell in the tub, but once it sits on your face, it just has like that fatty tallow smell, so I don't like it that much. It's more of just for fun, but the after feel on your face, and that's just a soapy, fatty smell. The cherry smell kind of wears off. Taubec is one that I started out with and I did not like it, but it grew on me. It's one of the best performing soaps. It's a very hard soap, but I got the one with the tub and everything included. I haven't used too much of it, but again, that's kind of when I like the got the boar brush, because that's really good to make a lather in here since it's such a dense soap. And then Perasso, this is the only kind I've tried. This has a really good after smell. When it sits, you'll smell it like if you shave before bed. I'll still smell it early in the next day for a while. It works well, and it's I know there's a lot of different Perasso products, so might have to try more out. And then again, that's the Nivea balm if I need it sometimes. The most recent Cremo is the Spiced Amber, which I do have one of those too, just over by the shower. but I like that scent, so I also got it in a balm, just if I want to rub it on my face and smell it. And then this one has just an Arco stick I put in just to, since I'm into doing a little bit more wet shaving, that if I don't want to take the time to whip up a lather, I can just rub that on my face, and that way I can still use a soap instead of the Cremo. And then I also do have a one blade of like the whole case, which when I do grow out my hair, I use that like to edge up behind the neck, or sometimes if I want a quick shave, I'll use it. I mean, it performs well, and you can use it on your body too. But I think I'll leave that there. There's a lot of products. I just wanted to do you know, the most in-depth I could and kind of talk about everything. So that's where I'm at for 2023, aside from maybe some new blades or some of those sample packs of different shave soaps. I'm not going to add too much more. It's kind of all I need, at least for now anyway. I say that, and I don't have too much more space here anyway. But it's definitely fun. It's not even that much money, especially when you space it out over years. You know, a lot of that stuff, the Vanderhagen and that little Badger brush, that Vanderhagen soap has lasted me for years and years. So you're only starting out with a low initial cost, especially when you think about how much just one Gillette cartridge pack of razors can cost. So hopefully that was entertaining. Thanks for watching, and you'll see me in the next one. Have a good one.